Hey guys, it's me again. It's February 29th and we got a beautiful day. We just had a bunch of rain and a lot of wind, etc. Last night, and which will lead me to why I'm making a video today. But I just wanted to share some of my thoughts and kind of get into it. I know your time is precious, so I'm gonna try to keep this short and sweet. But there is quite a bit of information in here, and I'll link all of this stuff into the video somehow or embed it somehow. Still learning how to do this editing thing, but I'm gonna put that in there for you so you can go and do your own research and make your own judgments, opinions, etc. And then always, like I say, ask God, ask the Holy Spirit, if this is for you, if it's not for you, whatever the case may be. But anyway, I'll just go ahead and get into it. So if you know, God speaks to us differently, right? And how he speaks to you is, I guess in your personal journey, how he speaks to you, but he speaks to me in different ways. And I guess this morning he spoke to me, I think he spoke to me this morning because it's been so windy, and yesterday we had a big storm. But this morning I woke up, it was like early this morning, and I heard two things. When I woke up, I heard chances of the wind blowing are high, why worry? And then I heard, put others first before yourself. And I'm sitting here thinking about this, and I'm like, what in the world? So one, I feel like that was confirmation from, being in the Word yesterday with them, and, sitting down and just praying with them yesterday and being in that, that quiet place. But I was led to, when I was looking this up, I'm like, what is he talking about with the chances of wind blowing? And I know the wind is in the Bible a bunch, and I've always been into like tornadoes and whirlwinds and things like that, but I was led more towards what resonated with me more was with Mark 4, and it was 39 through 41. So I'll read that to you real quick. And it goes, and he awoke and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. He said to them, why are you so afraid? Have you still no faith? And they were filled with great fear and said to one another, who then is this, that even the wind and sea obey him? And I love that, y'all. And, when I think it goes back to saying, like, stop worrying about the wind. Stop worrying about what's going on. Put your faith in God. And, we got a lot of stuff going on these days. And, trust in God. He'll take care of it. And then the other one that I heard, what I said was, put others first before yourself. And, I think this ties in a little bit to my last message, but, we got to love everybody each and every day. I mean, it's a blessing that we're still here, right? And we have a blessing, to share the gospel and to share our love and to share what God means to us and to everybody else. But I was also led to another scripture here, and I wanted to read this one to you. And it goes, this is from Romans 12, and it's Romans 12, 9 through 10, I believe. And it said, love must be sincere. Hate what is evil, cling to what is good, be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourself. And I love that. So, in these times, in these days, all we have are each other. We can't control what's going on in this world. But, we're witnessing it, each and every day. But, be there for one another, love one another, put your faith in God, trust in him, trust in his plan, trust that he's got all of this covered. And, we'll look forward to the day whenever he returns. So hopefully it's soon. But I wanted to get into a couple of these news articles it's just resonating with me again. And I wanted to bring some of this to your attention. But as I thought, some of this stuff is just, it's moving quicker, it's escalating. So I wanted to read a couple of these things. So February 27th, so just a couple of days ago, the Kremlin warned or is warning against NATO ground intervention in Ukraine. So that's nothing new. Everybody knew that. But one of the things that it said, several of the NATO countries came back and said, hey, we're not going to put any, we're not considering putting any troops or anything like that, on the ground in Ukraine. Well, then I got to thinking, I was like, well, how many NATO countries are there? We only had 6 or 7 of them that said, hey, we're not going to put any there. That doesn't mean the other 20 something NATO countries aren't thinking about it, but I don't know. But I'm not going to read into it too much, but just pay attention to see if that's coming down the pipe anymore. I have no idea. Hopefully that's not an escalation or anymore. But I'm just keeping my eyes out on that. But that was from the New York Times. Another one to keep your eyes on that I've been kind of watching lately has been with Israel and Lebanon. I mean, they've been talking about the strikes on the Hezbollah now. So maybe there being a spring offensive, and I'll link that one in here too. But that's something else we got to consider, because I thought they were just fighting Hamas or whatever, and now I guess they're going after the what do you call them, the Hezbollah. So who knows what that's going to be like. So just paying attention to that. Let's see. And then I saw another one. It said Russia warns NATO it's approaching a red line. And so again, this is about Macron's comments about putting troops on the ground. And, just something that jumped off the page to me about, when I read that news article was, it said, he goes, nothing should be excluded. So, I mean, they're kind of putting the idea there that maybe troops will go there sometimes or sometime. I don't know. But I think it was Dmitry Peskov, the Russian or the Kremlin spokesperson, said that Western troops becoming involved in the war would result in the inevitability of a direct confrontation. So, I mean, I hope this doesn't come to fruition, but you just never know. So I'm paying attention to it. I think several other people are paying attention to it. And I'm gonna get to another toward just the day I just saw that Putin had his meeting or something like that, and he made some other comments about this. So I'll get into that at the end here. But there's another one. It was from the Moscow Times it was just recent, that it said that Moscow vows response to Sweden's NATO ascension. Sweden is now the 32nd member of this U.S.-led military alliance after Hungary, and Hungary was the last holdout in accession talks. But we'll see. And I think it was the spokeswoman Maria Zakharova had said that they're going to closely monitor what Sweden does in the aggressive military bloc and how it will implement its membership in practice. So I don't know, guys. You guys should pay attention to some of this and see how, if you guys can see this escalation, it's just more and more and more. It almost seems like there's provocation on, both sides maybe, but I'm seeing it more and more. How about this? So moving on, here's another news article, just something that jumped off the page for me too. It said North Korea had sent some 6,700 containers of munitions to Russia. And that was what South Korea said. And that was back on February 27th. That's 3,152 millimeter artillery shells, or 500,000 122 millimeter rounds. That's a lot of ammunition. So for me, I'm looking at this like, this war isn't dying down, guys. I'm just thinking it's just going to keep going and going. So, I mean, I'm praying that it doesn't, but I'm just looking at these data points and I'm like, that's a lot of ammunition. That's a lot. And like, it looks like the battle lines are being drawn back and forth. So I'm, something else to pay attention to. I'm not afraid of this because I put all my trust in God, but I'm concerned that this thing is going to escalate even more quickly. And this is all happening and this is still February. We haven't even got to like summertime or fall. We haven't even got to that time yet. So paying attention to that stuff. All right, another one to watch out for is another news article was the Moldovan, and this is from The Hill, and it said the Moldovan breakaway region appeals to Russia as a spat with pro-Western government, with the pro-Western government worsens. So we'll see. And this is in that region of Transnistria. And we'll see how that plays out. So just something else, another thing on the radar to pay attention to. So that's another escalation, a potential escalation. So we're waiting to see now what Russia and, the president of Russia is going to do. So, if there's more that comes from this, I'll let you guys know. But just cautiously paying attention. It's another data point. How about this? This is something more domestic here. Have you guys heard about the Texas wildfires? Did you see that the Texas wildfires forced the shutdown at a nuclear weapon facility? And I think that facility was called Pantex or something like that. So the Pantex plant is northeast of Amarillo. And they had evacuated non-essential staff Tuesday night as a blaze rapidly grew. I mean, last year and now, I mean, last year we saw all those Canadian wildfires. I mean, there were wildfires everywhere, and now we're seeing them in Texas. I mean, there's so much, like, it feels like the world is burning. So I'm hoping, man, we get some more rain down there, and I pray for all of those people down in Texas right now dealing with these wildfires. But, you know, something that just stood out to me about this Pantex plant was it's one of 6 production facilities in the National Nuclear Security Administration's Nuclear Security Enterprise. The plant has been the main U.S. site for assembling and disassembling atomic bombs since 1975. And it had produced its last new bomb in 1991, and it's dismantled thousands of weapons, retired from military stockpiles, etc., etc. So it just kind of jumped off the page for me, guys. That's all I got to say. I don't know. Just paying attention to this stuff. Let's see. So as I said before, you know, one of the other news articles that came up just today was from Putin, who just warned that he just warned the West of risk of nuclear war. And this is from Reuters. He said, he told Western countries on Thursday they risk provoking a nuclear war if they sent troops to fight in Ukraine. So I guess this is the response that, you know, from Emmanuel Macron. And this just seems like another escalation. So he goes on to say in here, just some things that stood out to me was that he said the war in Ukraine has triggered the worst crisis in Moscow's relations with the West since the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis. Putin previously had spoken of the dangers of a direct confrontation between NATO and Russia, but his nuclear warning on Thursday was one of his most explicit. I mean, this is just getting intense, guys. So just be on the lookout. I mean, I've heard people on YouTube and other people that, you know, that say that they've had dreams of, you know, nuclear bombs and explosions. I've had one too myself. So these things are just kind of like jumping off the page for me. So I hope and pray that this doesn't happen, but I'm just saying it's just another escalation, it seems like. So, and this is all in I guess in response to the, you know, the troops on the border, you know, and moving like on the western border. So I don't know, something else to consider. If you recall, in one of my last videos, I made a video about a volcano. And this one volcano just stood out to me that, you know, today it just erupted, and it was Mexico's Popocatépetl volcano. I don't know how you say that. Popocatépetl volcano, and it's erupted 13 times in a single day. So just another data point. Maybe that's another birthing pain. I don't know. And then the last one I really wanted to talk about on the news that, you know, many people have talked about before, but I didn't really think I guess it's become now official, but this is from the Eurasian Times. It said, rare admission, U.S. uses artificial intelligence to hit targets in Middle East. It says over 85 targets destroyed. And I'll link this into I'll link this article or whatever into the video somehow. But you know, this artificial intelligence thing is to me, it's a big, I don't know. It seems like a no-brainer that we should stop using it, but it just seems like this AI stuff is getting more and more ingrained in everyday life. But I don't know about how you guys feel about it, but I think of it like Terminator 2, you know, back during Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Sarah Connor days, you know. But who knows how this is going to shake loose. But just wanted to let you guys know some of the things that's been popping off the page for me lately, and just wanted to share some of that. And with all this information, I mean, what are you going to do with it? I mean, if it's still escalating, it's not going anywhere, you know, it hasn't died down yet. I mean, what do you think that you should be doing? I mean, if this escalates any more and we go to, you know, more of that conventional warfare, you know, like you'd seen in like World War I and World War II, I mean, at some point it's going to get kinetic, and hopefully it does not, but just be on the lookout. So hopefully you're preparing and you've got some extra provisions, you know, you got some extra stuff like that going on, you know, just in case. You never know. You just never know. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. And if I see any other news, or if I get any other kind of messages or anything like that from the Lord, any other kind of visions, I'll be sure to come on here and post them, and go from there. Thanks, guys. Talk to you next time.